Hello. So, I wanted to continue with the series about trade during hard times. And anyway, down below is my email in case that you want to send me an Amazon gift card for helping the channel because I'm not monetizing it right now. I have some issues that I might talk about it later. But right now, I want to continue with the coffee thing. So anyway. So, you know how in the past there was no money, right? I mean, people traded things that were valuable. So, it doesn't matter if something is expensive or not, because the things were traded not upon how pretty they were, but how useful they were. That's why the Roman Empire was successful because they created kind of like a universal coin, so to speak, which was salt, as in salary, that comes from the word salt. And they paid all of the Roman soldiers with salt. And salt is something that is universal. Every single person in the human spectrum will probably use or need salt at some point, you're right? Because we use it for almost everything, from cooking to medicine to sterilizing things to saving food and a lot of other uses. So this is something that is very useful and also something that every single person can relate to. So right now in my country, some people do not want to trade in bills or currency or money as you know it, because either it's too difficult to get it because you have to go to a bank, the bank has to have a system, and it's just insane. There is no transportation to go to the bank has a certain schedule, the bank doesn't have any bills, or whatever the case might be. The point is that you cannot get money. So actually there was a funny thing about that. Money will have a price over money. Later I will explain that. But so if you go to certain parts of the country, you can trade things based upon the value they have compared to coffee. So if you go to the middle of the country, people are not paying with dollars or gold or whatever. They are paying everything against coffee. How much is that worth compared to 1 kilo of coffee? And there are two types of coffee. The one that you have in grain, that is green, the one that you get from the plant, which is valuable because you can replant it, and then also you can make green coffee, which is something that not a lot of people like. But everybody knows the black coffee, but not everybody knows that you can do the coffee with the green things. So or the red one or the yellow, but whatever. The point is that there is grain that is raw, there is grain that is roasted, like they put it in the process that they do. They put it in the sun, and then they put it through the flames and all of that, and then they sell that. Or you can have it grounded, which is the one that you probably consume. So everybody there is like, okay, I want to get, I don't know, gasoline, and then you get it for coffee. I want to get medical service. Okay, I'm paying in coffee. And everybody is doing everything in coffee because obviously it's something that every single person can relate to. Even if you do not drink coffee because you prefer tea, you will still be able to know that coffee is valuable because of the smell or whatever. And if you go to the south part of the country, which is a place that do not produces coffee, but they do have a lot of gold, in there everything is purchased and traded in gold. You can get things by money, but you're going to have a hard time using money there. you need gold, like actual gold, and everything is traded in what we call grams, but not in grams per se, but like a grain. So basically, you take gold and you take grains, right? They look like little stones. So each stone might be bigger or smaller, depending upon, the how you got it. So that is what they're using. They are not, saying, hey, this is worth this much money and that's what you're going to get me. Oh, hell no. They're going to say, this is too big, this is too small, you should give me more or give me less, and then they're doing something. But the point is that most people do not trade in gold unless they are in the south part, and that is because everybody there can tell the difference between gold and metal that is just painted. Which means that if you're going to trade things, it has to be something that every single person there can tell if they are not counterfeit and if they are like the real deal. Which, to be honest with you, most people cannot tell the difference between, gold and plated things. So, also you can maybe use gold to just cover it, but it's not solid gold. So gold is kind of difficult. Also because there is no standard for trading in gold. So, most people will be like, I'm trading in gold because I can, but otherwise, if you are not in a place that produces gold, then you are probably going to trade in something else. So like the center of the country trades in coffee, and the frontier in the country, as in the west frontier and the east frontier of the country, those places, they trade everything in US dollars. Obviously, because when you get something, you can get to the other country, like Colombia or the other country, and then you can buy things with the US dollars. So US dollars are very valuable because they are frontier, as in you can get to the other country and spend it, whatever the hell you wanted. And in the north, as in, where the sea is and everything, we are still using the US dollar mostly, and the bolivares, which is our currency. But quite frankly, like I said, I think it's because of the use, not because something is pretty or whatever. Is what you have has to be something universally accepted, universally used, and it has to be something that every single person will want in order for you to trade it. Otherwise, you are going to have a very hard time using that as a currency or whatever. So if you ask me, just maybe I'm answering because somebody has asked me, what do I think about, will be the currency for places like Europe or maybe the US or Canada or whatever. I think that those places are going to come back to probably salt or sugar, because those two are universally, accepted. Everybody wants to have salt. Everybody wants to have sugar. And those two, you might not need a lot of infrastructure to produce. But I don't think you can, say something like you're going to use coffee because you do not produce it. Hell, I have not seen one single, plant of coffee in Canada, for example. So it has to be something that you can get access to kind of easy, and it can be measured upon how many hours it takes to get it, and sort of like that. That is how people consider it kind of fair. And I think that that's why you're probably going to have to use salt or sugar. Maybe. I don't know, but it's my best guess for the countries like that. So I'm just talking about right now about this thing, and then, maybe you can draw your conclusions. So thank you for listening.